Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 6, season 2, 2024. We are in the Ray Racing Formula Ford FF1600 at Circuit De Ledenon. One thing I can tell you, having just spent 40 minutes, 50 minutes driving around this track, is you do need to get to know this track very well, and you need to find out where the limits are in terms of the X's. So I was able to find 4 tenths in one corner alone simply by finding that there's no X going on the outside. So do take the time to watch this, do take the time to get some practice in, and I think this is going to be one of those tracks where if you do practice hard and get to know it, you are going to absolutely trounce the majority of people that you come across in the week when they are doing their first laps in open practice before we actually log into a race session. Anyway, enough of all that, let's get in the cockpit, let's do the first lap. Righty-ho, let's go through this. So we're over on the right-hand side, changing up to 4th gear on the blue light just before the start-finish line. And what we're looking for is, if you see here right ahead of me, there's a change of colour of the asphalt that my right tyres are on. So it goes from a sort of sandy, darky sandy coloured to a normal asphalt colour. So just as we get to that, we're going to do a lift, as you can see, and we're going to start looking for the apex. I'm keeping some throttle on. Bit of maintenance throttle just to keep the rear engaged, and you just basically through turns 1, 2 and 3, it's all one left-hander, and you're just feeling for the grip. It's going to take a bit of practice. It's not the easiest set of corners to say, well, you need to be doing this and you need to be doing that. You're just feeling for the grip. So as you can see, I'll play it through slowly. Every now and again, I'm just tapping the brake slightly just to get the a bit of weight over the front tires. And every time I need more rotation of the rear, I'm sort of lifting on my throttle. You're trying to just make it through the corners so that you can open up the entry here into 3. So that's the important bit. If you miss the apex on 1 or 2, doesn't matter that much so long as you can get a nice wide entry here into 3. So I'm dropping from 4th to 3rd. I've just dropped down to 2nd gear here. I'm wanting to turn in. So again, I do a big lift on the throttle in 2nd so that I can get the rear turned. And what you're looking to do is you're wanting to go over and really sort of jump this curb as much as possible. Anything further to the left than this, you are going to get an off track, but where this is absolutely fine. So halfway through, or at the apex of 3 here, in 2nd gear, fully on the gas, straighten her out. And then we're looking for the braking marker for 5. Now, the braking marker I use is, as you're coming up to it, as you can see this white line, it's got a sort of elbow in it. So just after the elbow, there's a dark patch, and I brake just after the elbow. So as you can see, I'm just coming over. I've gone over the elbow, coming up to the dark patch. I'm now going to brake hard in a straight line, almost at full force here. So in a straight line as always, and then I'm going to bleed off the brake. I'm going to give a little bit of a blip there as I change to 2nd gear just to make sure that I don't lock up. And now I'm in 2nd gear, down to 1st gear, and fully back on the throttle, on the apex, taking a big amount of curb. Keep it over to the right-hand side, up to 2nd, briefly up to 3rd gear, and now we're looking for the braking marker for turn 6. I nearly pronounced how to say it, but I still don't. So it's the same braking marker that you use for the Formula V. So there basically isn't one, but you're about 3 car lengths before the line actually starts bending round to the left here. So as you get there, again, you're braking relatively hard up to about 85% in 3rd gear. You're going to start bleeding that off as you look for the apex down to 2nd, down to 1st gear, and now just trying to wait for my car to settle. The thing about being in 1st gear around here is you do often get quite a bit of wheel spin, so be on the lookout for that. And now I'm fully back in the throttle here. Up to 2nd. This corner is flat out, blind corner, so you can also cut it. Up to 3rd. So this next one, really tricky turns 8 and 9. So I actually had a look with the driving line on before, and I think if you follow the driving line, you are going to get a 1x every single time. So ignore the driving line on this. What you're wanting to be doing is sticking your right-hand tyres on the line. Anything over that line is an X. So right-hand tyres on that line, and all we're doing for turn 8 here, the right-hander, is we're just doing a lift. So quite a big lift, down to 25%. Go over the curb, clipping the curb. I then get back on the throttle briefly. And now you take a really, really wide entry into 9. So we're nowhere near the track here. This is where I found 4/10. Before I was taking a nice sort of mild line that was on the track. And then one time I thought, well, I'll just try it out here. And there was no X. So we're going nice and wide. Before this second to last storm drain, you can see midway between the second and the third where I am now. I'm going to brake up to about 75%. We're going to drop it down into second gear, and we're going to slowly bleed that off, start building back up on the throttle in second, so that once we're sort of getting just before the apex, we're back on full throttle. We're going to take some curb. The car will drift out. There is no X. There's no off track where I am now. Up to third gear, nice and wide, and this is a blind entry. So just as we get to the crest of this hill, what we're going to do is we're going to start turning in. We're going to go over the curb, get a nice big cut on that. Unlike in the V, the Formula Ford has actually got the suspension where they can ride over these curbs. Just doing a lift here, getting back on the throttle, and now immediately we're going to start braking again for turn 11, which is a really tricky turn. And it's not tricky for any other reason than when you try and get back on the gas in first gear, it's so easy to light up the rears and just spin around to the left. If you do it in second gear, there's less danger of that, but it is slower for me. So yeah, straight back on the brake here, up to about 80%, down to second gear, trying to turn in and only dropping it down to first once you're sort of at the apex and ready. And now I go back up to 100% throttle. Now, about 3 or 4 times when I was running these practice laps, I just span around immediately here, or spun around, whatever it is. So just trying to ease through up to second. We're now flat out, up to third. And what we're trying to do now is straighten up our entry into 14. So I'm leaving it in third gear, and what I'm looking to do is try and get the car so it's all straightened out and balanced nicely, so that I can start braking just before we get to the curbing here, and I can brake in a straight line. I'm going to drop it down to second gear. I'm almost braking at 100% here, down to first gear, and we're looking to just clip this inside curbing. Back up to 100% throttle. Your car's going to drift out. Up to second gear, leaving it revving a little bit more because we're going uphill. Up to third. Up to fourth and across the line in a 1:26.413. So as I say, I ran laps around here for about 3/4 of an hour. This was the fastest one that I did. Should be competitive, and let me know how you guys get on. I'm now going to replay it at full speed from the chase cam. Right, over to the right hand side. Little lift. Balancing the car, getting the slip angle right through 1, 2 and 3 here. Nice wide entry into turn 3. On the gas nice and early. Flat out through 4. Coming into turn 5, we've got the elbow, braking hard, trailing it off nicely. Little blip as I change to second gear. Back on the throttle. Up to second. Up to third. Tricky turn, turn 6. Down to first gear. Flat out through turn 7. Don't let your right hand tyres cross this white line on entry into 8, which is just a lift. Nice wide entry into 9, trailing it off into second gear. Up to third, blind entry into 10, just a lift. Back on the gas, braking hard, tricky corner 11, watch for the wheel spin on the way out of it. Flat out now all the way into turn 14. Trying to straighten the car so we can have a nice straight entry. Down to first. Back on the gas, revving it out that little bit more, going uphill. It looks very straightforward when you're watching it in chase cam, but I can assure you it's a tricky track, and that's what we like, because you guys have gone to the trouble of actually watching a guide lap, which is more than the majority do. So anytime there's extra technical sort of sections, that's when we can do best, because people aren't going to be able to just sit behind us in the draft. Right, final time with the driving line on from the cockpit. Right, this time I'll shut up and you can just listen to the tyres. Once again, thank you so much for your time. I have been Sambo iRacing, and I'll see you guys in the week. Not gone yet. Not crossed the line yet. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.